welcome our first guest, Mr. Paul Lambert. Hello, Paul. Welcome, welcome. Come to our wonderful
Thank you, Gail.
Sofa. If I could have a proper sofa, I would, but this will do for now. They're quite comfy chairs. Thank you very much for joining us. First of all, just tell us a little bit about yourself. What's your connection to Bookham? How did you end up here?
Well, we've been in Bookham as a family. I'm married to Juliet with two girls, Hannah who's 16 and Jenny who's 14. We've been in Bookham for 17 years. Yeah, I remember moving in when Hannah was about 2 weeks old, so yeah, it must be just short of 17 years.
Oh, that's wonderful. It's been a great place for kids to grow up, isn't it? Fantastic,
absolutely fantastic, yeah.
Paul, what's your role and how sort of did you come into it?
Well, I've got a few hats, I think, being a father, being part of this church here at Bookham Baptist. But I spend a lot of my time as a partner in a management consultancy in London. And what we do is all people work. We do work with sort of top teams, helping them to develop and work effectively together to kind of shape the organisation and the workforce they need for the future. And yeah, we're working all over the place as well. I've been in Paris. I was in Paris yesterday, which was very exciting.
Yesterday, gosh.
Yeah.
We're lucky to get you then. What are you really passionate about? What really motivates you?
I think what really motivates me is I'm a Christian. I believe that faith makes a difference to every aspect of life. And I've always tried to be one of those people who kind of thinks about all of life in doing that. So how does that change what I do at work? I said about going to Paris, but we're helping them create a new business in 4 months, and it's this mad. It's like 2,500 people need to be completely reshaped into this business. How can we do it in a way that looks after the people in the process? How can we make sure that people get into the right kind of jobs, that people are listened to?
So that's quite often lost in that sort of corporate process, isn't it?
Yeah, exactly. And I think one of the things I love about doing the top team work that I'm involved in is, I think recently we did one up in Scotland, and we had 10 leaders, white Anglo-Saxon males, not a kind of very diverse team, but we really got them telling their stories, why they were passionate about this business, the difference it made in this community. And we, some really heartfelt things, people's life stories. There were a couple of tears in the room as people shared some very intimate experiences of why they were doing this. And I think it's making it human, making work human, that's really key.
Absolutely. Are there any sort of examples that you can think of or a story where you've seen God really move in your work situation? Because really it's about God in your work, isn't it?
Yeah, and God in life. I just say, God is, in him we live and move and breathe. So all of life is about him. And so I had a couple of incidents you asked for. One, this business I've been working with, it has been absolutely full on. And I think I've really prayed it's felt almost overwhelming at times. And I've had a team of 5 people. And, at times you could see the strain. One of the guys, the younger guys, was really, really strained. Another guy came onto the project, had a difficult experience before. And I think at times God's really given me grace to kind of listen to them where they're at. I think he's also given me wisdom when I've not, sometimes I walked into this big meeting in Berlin with all their top directors. And to be honest, we hadn't had as much time to prepare. And I just did one of those little arrow prayers and said, God, help me, help me to have wisdom. And I was quite bold. I felt pushed to be more bold than I would normally be, and really challenged them about the pace they were doing this, that had they worked this out, was it in the best interest of people, the way they were doing it. And the last example is I've always felt that in a workplace, just we, as other Christians quite often have bumped into, and we've usually kind of formed a group. I'm thinking every workplace I've been in, we've formed a group just to pray for the business. We've always made a point of praying for the leaders in the business, for praying for people in the group, but also around the business who might be unwell, going through a difficult season in their life. One of my assistant was actually had to go into rehab, and really prayed for her, and she knew we were praying for her, and really appreciated it. So, yeah, it's trying to do work a little bit differently.
Gosh, that's amazing. And it's crazy to think, in a way, how you'd be doing that job, I guess, if God wasn't in the picture, yet you didn't have that support from him, that you didn't sort of have those courage in those situations, and having, being able to support your colleagues as well in prayer. That's really, really awesome.
Yeah, it's sort of, I kind of like to say, it's more when you come to the end of yourself. I was, the verse that was knocking around in my head was that one from Psalm 47 about God is an ever-present help in time of trouble. And I kind of felt over the last 3 months there's been quite a lot of times of trouble. So yeah, it's strength from beyond yourself.
Gosh, amazing. Well, thanks so much for sharing that, Paul. Really, really wonderful.
That's great.